Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Loving Goliath, a show where we discuss how to love the monster within. I'm Willis Smith, and I'm here with my dad and co-host, Trainer Ben Smith. Hello, Trainer Ben Smith.
Hello, Willis Smith.
How are you doing today?
I'm very excellent. How are you doing?
I'm I'm doing well.
You seem
If I could
hesitant about that.
if I could get up at noon every day, I would probably be the happiest person alive.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But you and I are both night owls. We have that in common.
I'm not a night owl. What are you
Well,
talking
you
about?
when
I'm up
you
at like 4 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Well, you used to be. You've always said that you used to be a night owl.
Well, I mean, I was a night owl when I was like young, like when I was in my 20s working in the
I'm
bars,
young.
nightclubs. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when I was working in the nightclubs and the bars, of course I was a night owl, but I still got up pretty early because I was still running in the mornings as a boxer and all this stuff. But I'm not, I am a night owl, but I just don't need that much sleep, right? So I
Hmm.
can be a night owl and still get up early. But now I don't have to do that. So I sleep my little eyes.
You think you're so great, don't you? Oh, I'm Trainer Ben Smith. I don't need that much sleep. I run every morning. You think you're
Well, I
so
don't
awesome.
anymore. I did though.
Yeah, now it's like I get up and I stretch my back for 45 minutes every morning.
I
I get
get
up and I
up
go,
and
oh, for an hour.
I get up and oil my knees and back, and
Yeah, you're like the Tin Man now. You're just like,
I know. You know what? I take a lot of offense to that because there's been times when you've made me the scarecrow,
I've
now I'm the
made you the
Tin Man.
Scarecrow?
I obviously and totally you've made me the cowardly lion. You like as at some point I've been all of them. So who am I? Am I the
Well,
cowardly
okay.
lion? Or what am I?
In my defense, and this is going to tie into some of the stuff we're talking about today, but in my defense, there is evidence in our new Goliath Everyday Guy interactive journal um, of you making yourself Dorothy.
That is true. There is a
M-
picture of me looking very beautiful as Dorothy.
yes, and not only that, but viewers, listeners, there are multiple photos like this in different circumstances, and I had nothing to do with any of them. So I just want that to be said for the record that if
It's
I've done
true.
all those other things, you have made yourself Dorothy.
It's true. It's true. I was quite revealing in some of those pictures of my feminine side, but I have no shame. I don't care. It's who I am. Love me or
Yeah.
hate me, this is who I am.
Well, yeah, again,
Which
like they're in the journal. Like it's not like you're hiding anything. Like
I know.
you've always been an example of just complete confidence in who you are. It doesn't really matter, right? Like
It's true.
it's what it
Um,
is.
which brings us to the topic of the day, which is Bell, let's talk. Um, a day dedicated to mental health is particularly for youth because there's a crisis of youth with struggle with their mental health. So Bell has dedicated this day, January 22nd, to mental health for youth, and we're really happy to be able to support it in our own way. And we'll remind people at the end of this, but we have our interactive journal, which we're going to provide for anybody who goes to the everydayguy.life website. They can drop their email and get a little sample of that journal, which is all designed to help young men and men in midlife experience more joy and happiness with less stress and anxiety. Simple tools and tips, strategies, some help people get routines that'll help their mental health. And we also, for anybody who's interested, we're offering free consultations with me or conversations with me. Just again, go to drop your email and book in the calendar a time with me, 15-20 minutes. So we're going to offer that for free to people. So if they want to, we can talk things through a little bit, whatever it takes to help people experience just more ease and less anxiety and just really support um, men's men's mental health, and we're really grateful for our supporters, or the support that allows us to be able to do that. Um, so thank you. But anyways, to the point, yes, reach out, please reach out and get that support because it's so important. It's and everybody needs somebody to talk to sometimes, and there's no shame in that. I've had it, you've had it, we've all needed it, we've all hopefully been felt like we could ask. So our ask is that you ask us for help and drop your email and get that support if you need it, or if you want
Yeah.
it, if you just want to listen to the podcast and get some simple reminders. Again, the interactive journal is just a reminder of some simple ways to kind of make happiness and ease a habit, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I hope that like if you are listening to this and you're somebody who struggles to ask for help, know that we have both been in positions of asking for help. And so if you if you speak to us in confidence, you're talking to people who know exactly what that feels like to be like, "Oh, dang, I'm struggling." And like, I've been reading through the Bell Let's Talk Day materials, and they say that like half of all young people, so 1 in 2 young people, don't feel like they're getting the help they need.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to kind of try to target why that is. And I know in my
Mm-hmm.
personal experience, I'm youngish at this point. Um, but like,
Ish.
be careful. Um, like a lot of people that I've worked with, a lot of people that I've gamed with, a lot of people that I've been friends with. I mean, the amount of people that I know that don't have a mental health struggle of some kind is very, very low. Very low. Um, so we know it's happening, we know it's out there, and we know that 1.25 million young people in Canada need help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in Canada, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, it's just, again, it's so important to ask for help. And I'm going to tell a little story. So for anybody who's listened to the podcast or heard our conversations, I mean, I've been very, very honest about the fact that at 23 years old, I was suicidal. All I wanted was to die at that point because I could not figure out how to get my life to work. I was like immersed in so much trauma and drama. And I remember thinking, I blocked off all my friends. I mean, I just blocked everybody off. I was just so in my head about my own trauma, that I just thought, like, who cares about me? Who's going to help me? Um, but once I was able to just kind of like take a breath and step back from just a tiny little bit, where again, we talk about this or I talked about this in the interactive journal, just find that tiny little spark of hope that things could be better. All of a sudden I was able to ask for help. And I remember, again, on the kind of on the night my mom died. I mean, my mom died when I was whatever it was, 23 or 24. But I remember just kind of like like I gotta be willing to ask for help. And all of a sudden, all these people around me that I didn't even see, I didn't recognize. My dad was there to help me. I had friends that were there to help me, and I didn't really recognize it. But that's the struggle, where you really feel immersed in this anxiety or stress or whatever it is that's maybe causing some of this mental health kind of breakdown, or this feeling of mental health breakdown. It's like we all go through it, but you got to find a little spark of hope that things can be better, because without that, it's hard to even recognize like all the opportunities around you, all the people that love you and care about you and want to support you, and resources like, you know not just us, but there's a ton of resources. But you have to be able to pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, again, I'm resilient, I've made it this far, it's been a hard go, but I can pull it around. who's around me, who can I ask for help, who can I talk to, who can I just get it out of me, because and start to move forward. And it just, again, I mean, we've all been there. I've been there, you've been there, but there's no shame in it. You just have to be able to have the courage to just say, you know what, I'm struggling, I need help.
Yeah, I think that's a good reminder that it's not just professionals. I mean, I think that it is important to seek help from whoever you think you need to seek help from, but it's not just professionals that you can reach out to. You have family, you have friends, and I don't know if we've talked about this, but a handful of years ago, I had a friend attempt to kill herself. Um and I got the text that morning as I was going into work. I was such a mess. My bosses sent me home, and the friend that told me, like, the three of us were quite close, said, I'm going over there because our friend was in the hospital, and we said we're going over to her house and we're going to clean. And we spent all day. I mean, like, her mental health was at a point where she had tried to end her own life. So, and I understand how it gets when your mental health is bad. I mean, I've always said I can do one thing well. My house can be clean, I can be good at my job, or I can be good at my relationship. I'm doing great at my relationship right now. So my house is a bit of a mess, right? So that's one of the that's one of the things that goes is your house. And so she and I went over there. We spent the entire day cleaning and going through getting trash out and moving this and deep cleaning and getting in and organizing. And it's not that the house needed to be cleaned, it's that she could come home to feel safe. She could come home knowing that people who love her were there, were taking care of her, were protecting her in the only way we knew that we could in that moment, without crowding her and being all around her like, what do you need, what do you want, what can we do for you? Because sometimes that's so much more stressful. But
Mhm.
if you need help and you feel alone, I don't think that she knew that we were there for her. But and we didn't tell her. We weren't like, "Hey, we're at your house, girly. Like, what's going on?" We just went, we did the thing, and she
Mhm.
came home and knew that somebody loved her and somebody wanted her to feel safe when she came home. And
Mhm.
the moment that you feel like you're the most alone ever, the people that love you are going to come out of the woodwork. They just are. And even if you feel like there is nobody, there is somebody who cares about you that much. There is somebody who loves you and wants you to feel safe and taken care of. And even if you don't feel like you can talk to anybody else, if you put it out there that you need help, that person's going to be there without a doubt, without question, right? You just need to let that sense of, like, oh my God, I can't let this out of me. You just need to be able to let that go enough to let somebody else in. And that's so important, right? I mean, and that's part of building up the ability to get out of that. Like, these are all parts of, like, building up the toolkit to move away from feeling that down and that desperate. And again, like, we've both been there. It's not like we're talking out of our asses. We've both been to that place, right?
Mhm.
Sorry, that was a long story.
No, no, but it's an important one. And again, it's like we provide the toolkit, and again, I sit here as a guy, I'm always like, oh, I'm always happy, I'm always this and that, but like I'm always like, life is great. But it's not that life is great. It's just I only focus on the great parts of life. But again, it's a practice, right? Because it's like I've been suicidal, I've been depressed, I've been this, I've been that, but I learned how to focus in empowering ways. And again, for me, everybody's gonna have to find what works for them. But for me, um, I just kind of was able to pat myself on the back and say, dude, you're so tough. You're so resilient. You be proud of that. Be proud of that. Again, so we all on the podcast, we started the very first episode with, the big three, self-assurance, ease, and faith. So that's where my self-assurance comes from, is just like, I honestly don't feel, I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong, but I honestly don't feel that there's anybody tougher than me as far as being able to take so much and be able to come back and still be a happy, well-adjusted, lovable guy, loving guy. I don't feel that there's anybody on this planet who can do that better than me. So that gives me so much pride. And but I mean, everybody's got things that are gonna like uplift them, and it's an internal thing. But that's what that's all about. Um, is that self assurance, the big three: self assurance, ease, and faith. But whatever it is, if you're struggling with your mental health, or you're feeling anxious or stressed, or whatever the issue is for you, um, I think the first thing is like just be, just find that little spark of hope that you can kind of like, I'm going to get through this, and then just try to just kind of see like who's around me, and for anybody who's on the other side of it, who's not feeling that, who's feeling great or whatever, keep your eyes open. A smile to somebody means a lot. Just a hey, how you doing means a lot. A conversation could save a life. So we're all in this together, and we're all impacted by how we support one another and how we reach out for support. But I just think it's so crucial that you find that sense of acceptance of within yourself, that you're here, you've made it through a lot of things. You made it through the incredible trauma of being born. Like you've made it through all those things to get to the point where you're at now. Pat on the back, you know some self-assurance or some self-acceptance. Find that little spark of hope. Things could get better. Maybe it's hard to see now how they could. Maybe I'm in such a dark place that it's really hard to see how, but I know that one way or another, things could get better. you know what's the next step I can take? So and so is there. There's somebody, my dad is here, or my mom is here, or there's a friend, or there's I can pour myself into this passion I have for lifting weights, or playing the guitar, or making you know, popsicle stick buildings, or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what it is that gives you a focus. Like, okay, I'm going to put my focus in this. I'm not hurting anybody. It gives me a sense of direction, and I could just ground into this feeling of being, you know, accepting of myself. And as I'm focusing on this thing that gives me a sense of purpose, my little popsicle stick house building monopoly idea, I'm just going to keep moving a little bit closer towards making happiness a habit by just continually, dude, you're doing okay. You're doing okay. You're doing okay. You're a warrior. You're resilient. You're tough. You're doing okay. You're doing okay. And then just keep, reaching out to people in simple ways, just like, hey, I haven't talked to you for a while, or, hey, I just thought I'd say hello, and I've been having some struggles myself. Just be honest, right? Because we all need help. We all need support, and it's okay.
Just before we move on, your mic needs to be moved again.
Sorry.
No, okay. I just don't want it to be too distracting for anybody.
Is it going to be more distracting if I do the Burt Reynolds, like no chest, so it's not bouncing? How about this? How about if I put some fake hair on there? Will that be?
I was thinking more Baywatch, the David Hasselhoff.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you should
I
come
just put a
running
little wig
in.
and I could just
Yes, please.
that, that'll give people some mental health issues for sure. Watching that, like, no,
Yeah.
I can't unsee it.
My eyes.
Ah.
Okay, no, that's good. Oh shoot, now I don't remember where we were.
I would just
Um,
talk about like just ask for help, reach out, and just continue. Just find that one little spark of hope. That's all you need to get your life moving in the right direction. And again, I don't want to sound like it's overly simplistic, because when you're really drowning, it feels like, oh my God, it feels like such a huge gap, or a huge step to try to get out of it. But it's really not. But you're just gonna have to do the work to just like above all else, like I say, find that little spark of hope, and then just find something, anything that makes you feel better, that makes you feel like okay, you know what, I like this. I'm going to put my energy into this. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah. I did latch onto something you said earlier, and I won't harp on it long, but you said or you said like life isn't always great. I make it great. And it to me it sounded like you life isn't necessarily great because you make it great because you're like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna change the world. But you make a decision every day that life is great. It's not that life has become great. It's not that you've like made your life like the perfect life. In the act of deciding that life is great every day, it is. It just is, And like that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely, 100%. And I'm going to share another little story with you. Hopefully, it has a point. But you know, I'm in my 50s now, and I've been, as you know, like I'm acting. I was an actor. I was a bodybuilder, gym owner. I've done all this cool stuff. You know, I've had all these experiences. You know, and I love where I live. I love our relationship. I love my relationship with my daughter. There's a million things I really love. But at this age, going into my mid 50s, the thing that I love the most, not love the most, but the thing I appreciate about my life the most, the thing that when I die, when I have my last breath on earth, beyond like, oh, I love Willow and I love Sean, I love my family and friends and all that stuff. The thing that I'm going to be like, I'm so proud of that is being a suicidal young man in like all of this like drama, all of this like craziness, and coming out of it and taking the lessons I learned to help and inspire other people. I'm so like I'm so proud of that, and because it's so far away, I look back so fondly. I'm so grateful to have been so low, because it was only by being so low that I could feel so high. So I always want people to understand that the greatest gift you can give yourself is to get to the other side of feeling really low, because it's like being born into a billionaire family. It's like you don't appreciate money. You're just not going to appreciate money. You're probably not going to appreciate it very much at all. But if you like starving and you're wondering how your next meals are going to come from, or how you're going to feed yourself, or get some shelter, you know, becoming a millionaire is going to feel pretty goddamn special. You know,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with people with who are struggling with mental health, or whatever it is, right? It's like, you know, in many ways, that's such a gift, because it's going to make you love life so much more when you overcome it. So all you have to do, again, is, and again, I'm not being flippant about it, like, oh, all you have to do, but but the first step to getting on the other side of it is hope. And that's the hope I hope to impart in anybody who listens to this, is that, oh man, like the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. The lower you are, the higher you have to climb. Like the
Hmm.
higher you the more thrilling the trajectory to those heights are going to be. It's just going to be amazing to you, and you're going to be like me, just like, wow, life, oh, I get to talk to somebody, wow, I get to wake up and like, wow, I'm happy, I'm smiling, I get to do construction or whatever it is. It doesn't matter, right? It's just like you're going to appreciate it so much.
Hmm.
It's the gift of overcoming um you know, stress and anxiety and unhappiness. So
Yeah. I'll add to that before we kind of move on to the next thought. Like the great and most inspirational stories are not usually well, I was born into this awesome family and we had a whole bunch of money. And then I got into a really good, I got into Harvard and then I became this super awesome lawyer. And then, I married a supermodel and we had 15 kids and all of them were straight A students. And actually, everything was awesome. Like, those aren't really the stories we find inspirational. It's the stories about people like us, people that start from a place that's not great and they skyrocket into something that is. But that's where the juice is. There are tons of stories about people who had awesome lives and were born into awesome families and had awesome things happen for them, and that's amazing and I'm super happy for them. But those aren't the stories that we look for when we're struggling. The
And
story.
it's not the story that we want. It's not the story you think you want that, but you really don't.
Yeah.
What you really want, if you really kind of could step back from it far enough, what you really want is struggle, hardship, challenge that you overcome, because 100% guarantee that almost anybody on the planet, if they really knew, if they really could step back from it, would choose that. If you know that your life is going to be a certain way, and they said, oh, it's going to be just perfect from day one to the or it's going to be easy from day one to the end, versus no, you're going to have some struggles, you're going to have some ups and downs, but you're going to learn a lot, you're going to have all these experiences, it's going to make you go different ways that you wouldn't have had you not had the struggle, and in the end you're going to be so proud of yourself for the experience of your life. 100% guarantee that everyone would choose that if they step back far enough. And so that's the gift of struggling to create mental health. When you're the gift of creating mental health, if you've struggled with it, is the other
Mhm.
side of it. Is just amazing, right? But
Yeah.
again, just find that little spark of hope of where you're going to go and how you can get there, and focus on that, and then just keep finding a sense of purpose in anything that makes you feel good, right? It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think there's a lot of, like, especially nowadays and with younger people, and I'm sure some older people, but mostly younger people, there's a lot of there's a lot of ability to distract from the problems and to kind of shut them out. Um, you can distract yourself with video games. You can distract yourself. I mean, you turn on your computer, you can watch any show, any movie from any time. You can watch anything and you can watch it for hours and hours and hours and still find something new to watch. You can like listen to music for a billion hours and still find new artists. There's people who fall into porn addictions. There's people who fall into like all this mess, all this like social media addictions, right? So much stuff that you can use to distract you. And I've definitely found that for myself in the past as well, where it's like, it's so easy to distract yourself. If you're in pain, why would you deal with it when it's free and it's easy to watch another season of The Walking Dead? I mean, it's not free, it's $15 a month,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what I mean, right? Like you can, if you're hooked up to the Matrix and you're online, you can distract yourself from anything and you can not think about it to the point where it becomes unavoidable and you have to think about it. And now, because you spent so long just being like, ah, la, 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 I don't have to think about you, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger to where it feels unmanageable, right? So I think that's definitely something that people my age and younger are sort of struggling with, is the fact that it is so easy to just ignore it, you know?
Yeah, but this is what I'll say. This is my advice, and whether people listen or not, I mean, I've said from day one, again, in the journal, it's one of the things I try to kind of guide people to is get up early, get yourself a cup of coffee, chill out, and just relax for a minute. Then, like, just think about things that make you feel good. Create that highlight reel. We always talk about a highlight reel. We talk about the happiness line. There's a line of happiness. Make a decision that you're going to stay above the happiness line. You're not going to drop below the happiness line, and then create a highlight reel that will help you stay above the happiness line. And then again, use an inspiring mantra. All these things that we talk about. Um, are all to make happiness a habit. But it all begins with, in my opinion, like just get up a little bit early and just give yourself that time. 15 minutes, 20 minutes to just like do those things, like I'm gonna do my best to stay above the happiness line. I'm going to think about some things that always make me feel good about myself that can help me rise above the happiness line. And I'm going to have something that reminds me, hands up, chin down, no pain. Hands up, chin down, no pain. When things are hard, hands up, chin down, no pain. I got this. I got this. You know, just spend 15 minutes every morning. And then the rest of the day, you can go online. You can do whatever you want. But you're going to find that you're always going to want to come back a a little bit more to that time in the morning and those little moments during the day where you can reground in this feeling of peace that you experience that becomes habitual if you do it for even a short amount of time, getting up early and doing these things. I mean, we've been talking about that for years now on the podcast, the Love and Goliath podcast. We've been talking about that for years, and I've been telling it to people for years. And I just think it's like, especially as in the world that we live in now with all the distraction, do that one thing for yourself. Do that one thing for yourself. Just get up early, create this little bit of time where you can ground into your happiness, get yourself a cup of coffee, do some nice stretches, set yourself your mind to just like throughout the day, I'm just going to do my best to stay above the happiness line, and just put a bit of time practicing until you get really good at it, and then happiness will become a habit for you. And then you can, when you're doing all your other things, your online, your social media, whatever, you can do it from a happy perspective, right? And you can see it from a brighter perspective, because again, it's not like my life is without the same situations that everybody else has, right? My car breaks down too, and
Mhm.
I struggle with things too, and I hurt myself too, and but I deal with it better than other people because I've created rituals and routines. So I don't know. That's everybody owes that to themselves, I believe, and it's so easy to do. But again, these are things that I'm I'm happy to help people walk through the simple, super easy, really teachable tools and tips to help people experience more happiness. So again, I'll be like a bit of a broken record here. If you go to the everydayguy.life website, drop your email, you can get that that free sample of the interactive journal, which again will start to guide you towards these little rituals and reminders that will help you, and then book a free conversation with me where we could start to talk some of these things through. um you know Again, it's not hard. You just have to make a commitment to it. For starts with a commitment to your to accepting yourself, and just like, what, things can be better. Things can be better. I just need to keep focused on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I second that. Please do come to our website, drop your email, check out one of our free offerings for Bell Let's Talk Day. And I mean, again, they're free offerings. Dropping your email is free. We've got lots of tips and tricks out there for you um that are absolutely free. We have offerings that, you know, that can help you right now. And if you're one of the 1.25 million young people in Canada, or you're a not young person in Canada, or you're not in Canada at all, these resources are for you. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, well, that's not help I deserve, or that's not help oh, well, I don't like somebody else could use that. This is for you. Like, this is us talking directly to you. If you need this help, and even if you feel like you're not worthy of this help, if you feel like it should go to somebody else, if you feel whatever you're feeling about this, if any part of you is saying, I need this help and I feel like I want to reach out, please do. Because this is for you. And we are here for you. You can email us, you can DM us. I mean, that's what we're here for. This is what we do. And this guy is great at keeping up with DMs on Instagram. So please, please feel free to to DM us anywhere. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on you're on LinkedIn. We've got a TikTok account. Like you can't get rid of us. We're everywhere. We're annoying. Um, but let the message be like Bell Let's Talk Day. Let's talk.
Let's
That's what
talk.
we're doing.
And
Yeah.
again, just go to the website, drop your email, and let's get started there. You know,
Yeah.
a free sample of some simple, easy to apply tools that are really going to help you, and book a conversation with me. Just drop your email. That's all it takes.
Yeah. That is all it takes. And we've talked about this before, but if you have a topic you want us to cover here on the podcast, that you think other people would find useful, please do feel free to email us. You can email us at lovinggoliath@gmail.com. We're happy to talk about whatever is of interest to you. We've talked about, we've had people ask us about how to get through breakups and how to be there for somebody who is dealing with suicidal thoughts. And, you know, if you have something that you want to talk about and you would rather we just talk about it, we can also do that. So whatever is best for you, there's so many different ways, there's so many different avenues. We'll have all our links in the description below. So whether you're watching this as a podcast on Spotify or on YouTube, all the links will be there if you want them, if you need them. And we are here if you want and need us. And thank you all for joining us again, as always. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for meeting with me, Willow. This is such a this is, as you know, this is my life. This is my life, is to help people with this stuff, and I mean what in whatever way I can. And um yeah, I mean, so thank you for always meeting with me and always being one of my best friends, and always just helping me be the second half of this team that I feel is just so rewarding in our ability to help other people.
Yeah, this podcast has been pretty amazing in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to continue to get more amazing. And, like we kind of laughed last time about like, oh, the people in 2047. But this podcast will be around as long as the internet is around. As long as you can listen to audio, it'll be here. So if, you know,
Well, the reality is, I mean, I've been working with people and young men in midlife and everything in between, since I was like, honestly, since my 20s, really. And it's just got more and more and more. It's just the only thing that changes is the evolution of our ability to reach more people.
mhm,
So we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years, right? But just our ability to reach people is going to advance as technology advances and as awareness advances. So that's the only thing that's really going to change.
mhm. So let that be a message to you. If you don't reach out to us today, we're not going to leave you alone. We're going to be all over the place. Soon we're going to be like outside your window. Hey,
Forever. And then, yeah, at some
forever and
point
ever.
I'll be there, and you will too, probably. We'll put my dentures in. You gotta
Yeah,
go.
you'll hear our like diapers swishing as we're like chasing you down the halls.
I know we're not that far. We're 20 years apart in age. So if I'm wearing diapers, you're not that far behind us. So we'll both have diapers. We'll both have squishy diapers, will it? It'll be
It's
awesome.
okay. Ew. All right, we should call it here. We're getting to silly times.
Okay.
So thank you all so much for joining us. As always, it is a pleasure as always. Please feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media. Email us at lovinggoliath@gmail.com. Check out our website, everydayguy.life, for some of our free offerings right now for Bell Let's Talk Day. Thank you to our sponsors for making those free offerings possible. And we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.